So I've been tracking with some friends back in Gettysburg. As many of you know, I've relocated to Florida. Amy and I have relocated, and but still very, very much interested and intrigued with what's happening throughout the country. In this case, more specifically, Gettysburg, where I last lived. And I'm going to share a video clip with you. But I want to, first of all, just say this. If you've got kids not just in the Gettysburg area school district, but anywhere in the country, wherever you are that's listening to this, and I don't even know if they'll let you in if you have grandkids at a school board meeting, or these meeting. Yeah, I guess it's a school district meeting or something to that effect. But I want to especially commend and encourage and pray for a friend of mine, and you know who you are, that sits on the board at the Gettysburg area school district. And so with that, listen and pay attention to, for those of you that are in the Gettysburg area school district, and any other districts for that matter, if you see someone literally begging you to sit in on these meetings where you can have a say, and you do, as a taxpayer, as a concerned parent who's got kids in the school system, we've got to take back ground in this. We got to take back territory in this. So for people like my good friend up in Gettysburg, who is fighting the fight, come alongside people like this. Let your voice be heard. So without any further commentary and ado, take a listen to some of this clip. And you may have seen it, then again, thanks to the media, you may not have.
Transcript, I'll just show it to you here. We failed to fight anti-Americanism in public education. Just randomly brought that up. It's like bing, 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 bing. All right, you guys with me now? I pray to God, I want you to share this. I don't care what the left-wing nuts say about me, because I'm coming at it. All right, Laura Ingraham, talk.
$1 million budget. You know, Laura, you've watched me over many years as an investigative reporter standing up to
A professor and reporter.
I'm also, yes, a mother in Fairfax County Public Schools, and now I'm investigating the ideological extremism that's infiltrating our public schools and indoctrinating our children. I've watched hours of these school board meetings, and it's horrifying what we're seeing. It's a big business, and I call it Woke Incorporated. It sells products under buzzwords like critical race theory, anti-racism pedagogy, cultural Marxism, implicit bias training, decolonizing syllabi. And this extremism is like a cult that's hijacking our return to school with this divisive agenda that pits people against each other in a race war.
Pits people against each other in a race war. That's what they're doing.
And I know you've looked at, in other areas, some of the Islamist infiltrations in schools, which we're not going to address tonight, but that's also been part of it. Cynthia, to Ozra's
Oh my, Allah Akbar.
this is what Fairfax School Board member Abrar Omesh said at a recent meeting.
As a board here, being very bold and clear about where we stand, symbolically and hopefully following up with action. You know, whether that's shaping narrative, just think about what it's like to sit in a classroom, to sit through years of history, learning about, you know, the incredible accomplishments and achievements of others who may have been oppressors to you.
Oppressors
Cynthia,
to you.
why is the school board involved in
Founding fathers.
shaping narratives? What's going on here?
It's control, Laura. It's control. And the sad thing is,
Slade's
I
a
sit
Christian,
here and
you
I
can
listen
tell.
to this stuff, and I'm like the head blown emoji, because I I know that I would never go for this at all, for my son, my nieces, for the many kids in my own family, and it makes me so passionate for other parents. What is it about these people that they think that parents and families
Stay with me, folks. Don't go offline now. Stick with it.
Parental choice and pick and choose our own schools and force these schools to have to compete, because I guarantee you more people would choose schools where their kids could go to school and be a kid. All of what they're trying to do, it's like, I hate to say it, but honestly, these people want to answer questions that kids aren't asking, and it's one big identity theft.
Identity theft. They're stealing your kid's identity.
A woman of God and a woman of faith.
Woman of faith, I knew it.
Gives us free choice, right? Why do we not have free choice over what's happening in our public schools? It's just, it makes me so angry. I could scream.
No, it is so enraging, Azra, and you've been on this from the beginning and watching these videos. I think a lot of parents, because they're so busy and they're just trying to manage their daily lives, they want to trust educators to educate.
Yeah.
They want to trust. It's out of a good spirit. But what is your message to them tonight about how
Like
they have to
intellectual
take back this
pedophiles
education?
are
What's
getting into
your
your
message?
children's brain and molesting it.
You've got to be vigilant. You've got to watch these public school board meetings. You've got to pay attention to these newsletters and these emails that the principals and educators are sending. I mean, at my son's STEM school, Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, mostly immigrant parents of color, to the point of identity theft. And we get a letter from the white principal telling us that we need to check our privilege. Our privilege is families that have survived the Cultural Revolution, communism, poverty, colonialization, and they are lecturing us. And so to this point, why do parents get intimidated? They're trying to shame you. So don't get shamed.
You hear that?
For critical thinking.
She's being told to check her white privilege by a white person.
Then, because it's our kids' education that is the most important, not this radicalization.
Cynthia, you're speaking to this idea of choice, but right now.
I'm telling you. Thank God for you, so I know you get this. These.
Wow. All right. So we have got to get past being on defense and really start turning tables here. You know, isn't it interesting that right about now, I'm all for getting schools back in play. You know what I mean? Getting kids where they belong in terms of academically and all of that. But in my humble but accurate opinion, it's supposed to be academic, not this ideological subversion that's taking place. I didn't come up with that term, by the way. I stole it from somewhere. I think it's a book or something. But that's really what's happening, is that our ideology as a culture and as a nation is being upended and turned on its side, mainly to make it disappear so that our country forgets its history. Kids, people begin to hate, if not already are hating, and are being painted a picture, let's just call it what it is, brainwashing and indoctrination that this country is evil, it's racist, it's not a place to be. We should be ashamed of our history. We should be ashamed that we are prospering. Other nations are not. All of this stuff. And it's revolting. We are one of the few countries in which people are trying to enter illegally for a reason. Okay? And that's a separate conversation, because that's kind of a complex issue. But to me, it's pretty simple. We don't see people rushing out of the United States to go to some other country like Venezuela, like China, like North Korea, like I could name several other countries where free speech, Second Amendment rights, all of that, they're not even regarded at all. So why is it, right? So again, for separate conversation. So I just want to go back to the idea that if you have school kids or grandkids for that matter, and you're a tax-paying citizen, which you are, get involved. Figure out a way to stop this runaway train that is intentionally destroying and dividing our country. Okay, it's not about masking and not masks, and wearing or not wearing a mask, but it's really just about now dividing the country and destroying it. And I know you've heard me say this before, but it really comes down to the election. Okay, we've got this craziness going on. So what I was going back to saying is that yes, let's get the schools back, but we've got to have school reform as well in terms of what's taking place. Literally, it's not just what's being taught, but literally what's taking place. President Trump is now looking into the educational system, K through college, right? And college particularly, but now it seems like any school system at any grade level is fair game for these Marxists. And so he's having his administration look into, hey, are we teaching or are we indoctrinating? And if it's indoctrination of an ideology that is setting up for continued hatred and division of our nation, then obviously there's implications for that, right? This has got to stop. And ultimately, let me just say this, as a parent as well, when it comes to quote-unquote indoctrination or instilling a belief system into our children, that is our responsibility, not the schools. Okay? We want to raise our kids in a Christian environment, in a belief in Jesus Christ, or whatever faith, but in my case, our kids are raised as Christians, followers of Christ. That was our job as parents. And I once heard a very disturbing statement, and it went like this: if we do not disciple our children, somebody else will. And that's exactly what's happening in our school system. So back again to my friend up in Gettysburg. She and her husband are imploring that school district to have parents show up and listen in on what's at stake and what your kids are going to be exposed to and continue to be exposed to when schools open up. All right. I know I said a lot in this video. It's long. I just had to get it out. I've been wanting to do this for days. So, all right. Only be strong and courageous in speaking the truth. Talk to y'all later.